And welcome back for the final game of tonight. We have Divine Sunderers versus Yabai, I believe it's
Yabai,
pronounced.
as someone who speaks Japanese, this is indeed my home turf. This is Divine Tsunderes versus Yabai. Yeah. Tsundere is. Do you know what a tsundere is,
I have
Jeff?
no idea. Please educate me.
Well, a tsundere is a kind of girl, or it could be a guy, but traditionally it's a girl
Okay.
who pretends that they don't like you, but secretly very much do, and are usually quite flustered when you try and make an offense on them. That's where that comes from. So
Okay.
that's the history on that. Whereas yabai is something that you would say if something was bad. If something is yabai, it's like, oh damn, that's not good, you know. But
Oh,
it
like
can
an
also mean
exclamation, like "Oh no."
yes, very, very
Okay.
similar to Oh No.
Okay.
But in a similar way to how bad for a little while was slang for good in English, yabai can also mean that something is particularly cool, as if to say that's bad, you know?
Oh, okay. Okay. So
So
there's
there's a lot of lore here on the names, definitely, yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it, and looking at these teams, I did get a little bit of research in on Divine. Sorry, to
Tsundere.
Sundere.
Yeah.
Okay,
You got it. Perfect.
there we go. Did get a little bit of research in on them. So from what I've seen, just doing a little bit of reading at their profiles,
hmm hmm
looking into a couple of the games that they've played. I'm expecting this top laner. You're looking at more of your traditional split pushers or supportive top laner. So you're looking at Yorick, you're looking at Wukong, but also the Shen as well. So you've got that global pressure. Um, what do these characters with the split push really bring to a team composition, and what advantages do they have over your more traditional, like your Trogath, where you just had a big, strong tank in the top lane?
Well, split push is quite an interesting one, personally. Like, I think that the different kinds of top laners and the different kinds of mobility that you can have in the top lane really kind of depends on the team comp that you're trying to run. Something that runs more split pushy comps usually is trying to be, we've seen a fair amount of aggression so far. Split pushers, usually they kind of just they want the rest of the team to have enough on their own that they can go and be greedy, right? Split pushers, I think, are greedy champions to pick. They are champions that you pick when you want to get as much done as possible and you know you're going to have the space to do so. So things like Shen, like you were talking about. Shen is a really good split push top laner because he can just kind of sit there and do what he wants and dominate the lane as he does. It's very difficult to fight a Shen if he's ahead. And then get as much as he wants out of top lane. And then the moment he's needed, all of a sudden he's on the other side of the map and everything's fine. He's very greedy in that sense. You're relying on the ultimates to actually get yourself in. You're taking a lot without having to commit anything. Whereas other teams, if they were to do a similar kind of thing, if they were to be engaged on by five heroes, or by five champions, it's 5 versus 4, and suddenly the math doesn't really check out, and then we get a ton of question mark pings on the top laner. But not in Shen's case, not in Shen's case.
And also looking at their mid lane as well, they've been playing a lot of the assassins, but also they've been roaming quite a lot. So I've been seeing a bit of the Katarina, LeBlanc as well. Um,
What's a fun one?
So could be seeing that heading down towards the bot lane or the top lane as well, trying to open this up a little bit more and allow the what I am expecting to be a scaling jungler, something like your Kindred or your Lilia, to be opened up a lot more and really then begin to carry that game from the jungle role as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that happen. Definitely. Lilia is just so strong at the moment. Like she's just I remember looking at Lilia's kit when she was teased and when we got her kit before she was put on the PBE, and I was thinking to myself, how does she actually do anything? How does she like? How does she keep people in her circle? Right? How does she keep people in her area? And the answer is that circle moves really damn fast. And Lilia is just so good at just making things happen from such a long distance with that swirl seed. You can go for the river shots, or you can just know the angles to actually get things sorted, and then the ultimate, the lullaby is just so strong that AOE sleep is that you can't flash away from. Keep in mind, if you've already been hit by the Q, you can flash, you can do anything. The only thing you can do is cleanse. Otherwise, you're falling asleep, and then you're getting hit by that big stick with the little thing on the end of it. Do we know what it is?
I believe it's some sort of fruit.
Ah, yeah. So you're getting a face full of fruit, a fruit punch, if you will. But
But as we heard some of the casters say at Worlds, the one counter, as Bambi taught us, to a deer is a shotgun. So possibly seeing the Graves coming out in the jungle. Obviously, the Lilia is significantly
oh,
less effective when the smoke screen comes in, and the movement that Lilia has on her passive, being able to roam around that jungle so fast. Graves can also do the same sort of thing, being able to dash through the walls with his E. Also, building the Gale Force, which is quite common as well, increasing the mobility of that Graves. We should be seeing the teams that are just getting themselves ordered up for you in the lobby.
yeah,
So if we're looking at scaling junglers, split pushing top laners, and very meta bot lane picks, Misfortune, Jin, Kai'Sa coming out on the ADCs probably. Um,
mhm.
what are we expecting this team to? In an ideal world where you want a scaling jungler and a split pushing top and a meta bot laner, what sort of composition would you really like to see come out from Divine Tsundere?
It's an interesting one, really, when it comes to that kind of thing. But in terms of a split pushing top, I think Shen is a really good call. I think Shen is a very strong call. You could also possibly go for something like a Fiora if you wanted just pure aggression and domination on top lane without the mobility of being able to join fights. I think Fiora is pretty strong. I think Irelia can also be quite strong for that regard. But I think Shen probably one of the safer ones. These junglers that provide a lot of advantage, you could very easily go with a Hecarim. I think Hecarim is very strong.
Yep.
I think that he is very mobile. He gives you a lot of engage and he gives you a lot of good opportunity. Amumu as well uh, fills that same kind of role as Hecarim, but just in a different fashion. Instead of being really fast, he just has to find the positioning to get a good bandage toss, and then suddenly he's in the middle of your whole team and you're all rooted. Um, and then what we're talking about? We're talking about mid laners as well. What are you saying?
Also, the bot lane as well. We
Oh
said
yeah,
about
bot lane. That's it. Yes.
yeah,
Um,
they it looks like Sofa and Yanako really liking the meta picks at the minute. So we're seeing a lot of
yeah,
Enchanter
right.
supports, Lulu and Seraphine, but also quite a lot of engage with Nautilus and Alistair.
Yeah,
And then on the ADC as well, Misfortune, Jin, and Kai'Sa being
yes, that's
their
right.
preferred pick.
Well, we've spoken a lot about Misfortune. We've spoken a lot about Kaiser in the past
We
two
have.
games, but Jin is a very interesting one because he is the least mobile, probably the least mobile range carry in the entire game. But yet he makes up for it with a ridiculous, obscene amount of damage that can just win fights all on its own. And when you have someone that engages with that, I think that is ideal. Jin with Enchanter supports is not it's not ideal. It can work. It's good, but you really want someone who's tanky, who goes in, who makes things happen, that allows Jin to just unload all four of his bullets into someone. Um, but if they're looking at enchanter supports, and this is actually quite nice for them to have a range. Like some people they're
Yeah.
comfortable with the enchanters, some people are comfortable with the tanks, and this support here seems to be able to do both, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, as we are going to head into draft, first ban coming in to begin this one is going to be the Katarina here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so obviously we mentioned about the roaming assassin mid laner. Katarina is going to be banned out first, and the Hecarim, something that you mentioned before, is going to be banned out on the other side.
Yeah, no, that's a very understandable ban. Oh, and there goes Kindred. Kindred, very mobile roaming jungler that just tries to deny as much as they can.
Yeah, another one of those scaling ones, as well as the
Mm.
Diana going to be taken out. Something that we haven't really seen a lot of, as Jin is the last ban to come in. These ones are coming thick and fast.
Yeah, now Diana is a hero that Yabai. Now Yabai, well, one of the first games I casted in the last stream in the last season, and I'm pretty sure it was Mitsudo on Diana, but I could be wrong. They might have been on Ash. But Diana on the side of Yabayo was quite a spectacle. They were able to use it really, really well in the team fights. So I can completely understand that. And you know, the Lunari has been banned, and now so is the Solari as well. Leona getting banned out there. Very aggressive support. I can see why they banned her.
Well, I did say it. Graves being banned, the natural counter to Lilia,
Oh,
and
here
she's
we
gonna be.
go.
Is she gonna be
You're
picked up?
kidding!
Is she gonna be
No
picked up?
way! No
Because
way!
there is one way that you can counter a deer, but no, it's going to be the Ornn picked up. It's going to be the first
Okay,
one.
okay.
Something that we haven't really seen. So Ornn had a few changes with all the new items. Now, Ornn can only upgrade mythic items into masterwork items. So really, as these mythics start to come in and Ornn starts to scale up with the levels as well, we'll see really this one side can have such an advantage by picking up their mythics nice and early, and Ornn being able to upgrade them as Blitzcrank being picked, which we kind of have to assume is going to be the support.
Yeah, I recoiled physically. I had to double take that. I've very rarely seen Blitzcrank picked in official games. He usually is quite the cheese pick. There's never a situation, for me at least, where you would pick Blitzcrank when you could pick Thresh, right? Thresh just kind of does everything that Blitzcrank does, but better.
Yeah,
Except for specifically picking, right?
yeah, Blitzcrank is always going to be effective because without you don't even need items for Blitzcrank to be effective because he has the hook, he has the knock up, and then immediately when you hit level 6, that's your combo, and that should be someone removed. But proxy pick for Kai'Sa. So Kai'Sa is going to be playing into the Severe, and there's the Shen as well that we mentioned, and Nunu. So picks coming in thick and fast while we're talking through this. Nunu and Willem, something that we haven't really seen much of. And Nunu is actually a proxy as well, so it's going to be Lilia. So we're going to have Ornn, Kai'Sa, and Lilia picked so far, and on the other side, it's going to be Graves, Severe, Shen. As far as we know, none of those are proxies. Really interested to see how these teams stack up now, because the Shen and the Graves could be a very, very strong AD top lane combo with the jungle as well, and really looking forward to seeing those play together.
Yeah, I think so too. Nuno and Willem just has such a ridiculous amount of they're very Remus-esque in the sense that they have movement speed and they have the ability to disable you at a long distance. But honestly, Nuno and Willem is one of those champions that stays in a fight and is more effective.
But Nunu is the proxy for Lilia.
That is correct. Nunu is the proxy for Lilia. That's entirely true. I am a very silly human who sees words in front of them and
Don't worry about it.
Lilia, yeah, as you were saying, natural counter is the shotgun, right? But that doesn't mean that. Sorry, I remember that moment in Worlds and it absolutely cracked me up. Then does as well here. But yeah, it's one of those things where yes, Graves is the counter to it, but doesn't mean it's bad overall. Does not mean it's bad overall at all. You know, just because something is countered doesn't mean that it's completely ineffective. It just means that they are not effective against the Graves. So we'll have to see what they're doing with the rest of their team comp, and also what Yabai are doing to see how this Lilia is going to work out in the long. Bard picked. That's a very fun and cool support.
Now, I've had some bad experiences with Bard. My last game that I had before we came on the cast, I had a Bard on my team who happened to miss every single ultimate. So, hoping to see this Bard performing a little bit better. And that ultimate, being able to lock up stasis can be so strong, because you can not only disable the enemy team, stop their engage, stop them from being able to escape, but also being able to lock your own team in stasis is kind of a free Zhonya's Hourglass. It means that people who wouldn't typically build it, so your Kai'Sa, your Ornn, if they need that stasis, have the opportunity to get it. And we are going to see Janna and Lux being picked up on the other side.
Yeah, the only thing about the Bard stasis is you got to predict it. Zhonya's is immediate with 0 cast time, but Bard's got a 2-second delay. But it is going to be interesting to see how they do it, because it can lead to some amazing plays, especially with this Nuno and Willem to follow up, as well as the Ornn as well. You know, you call in the Ornn horn, you get a Bard ult. That's the dream, right? The absolute fantasy here. Oh, Tristana, such a good pick.
I think so. That's going to be Tristana mid, I assume, because it'll be the Kai'Sa into the bot lane alongside the Bard. So could be some really interesting combos. So
could
Tristana
be,
mid.
or could
Go
be
ahead.
AP. Could be AP Kai'Sa mid. Just
Okay.
saying, they can pull the ARAM strat out.
So it could be interesting. I am expecting the Tristana to go mid with that Hail of Blades and look to just shove and roam, shove and roam, shove and roam throughout the entire game. Um, Looking forward to seeing how these teams stack up. Lilia we haven't seen very much of, but one of my personal favorite champs to pick up if I am filled into the jungle role. Um, Really, really enjoy playing Lilia, and so much burst potential with that character as well.
Yeah, no, Lilia is really fun. I was very devoutly. I had stuck my flag in the I hate Lilia camp, and then I actually tried to play her as a jungle main myself. And oh my god, what a fun hero! What a fun champion! I cannot believe that it took me so long to actually play and enjoy Lilia, and she's just as fun to watch as she is to play. Do you know what her W is called?
Watch out, Eep.
No, no, no. It's watch out, Eep.
Ah, sorry, I didn't
You
get the
gotta,
emphasis
yeah,
in there.
you gotta say it right. You know, you gotta channel the spirit of Lilia inside you to get the.
There's no chance that I'm going to attempt the accent. There is going to be far too many people that I would offend with that one.
Oh, definitely,
uh,
definitely.
but really looking forward to seeing the combinations that we can see, because obviously if you drop that Bard ultimate, perhaps locking up a couple of the enemy champions,
Yeah.
Lilia then goes in and manages to hit her Q on that, gets everyone procced, and then an ultimate into that locks up the entire team, and then you get that bonus damage if you wake them up from their slumber. Um,
Yeah,
really interesting
no,
to
and I can
really
see.
really should be a good combination, and looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, and I can see the bonus damage being woken up maybe by the second half of an Ornhorn, you know? Or maybe by the first half. Maybe, we don't know. Maybe they hit the first half, then they put them to sleep. There's so many possibilities here.
Also, with them being asleep, that isn't a mobilization, so Kai'Sa is able to ultimate
True.
into them if you have that evolved Icathian Rain, that Q. Big burst potential with the magic proc, and then also the combined damage of those two. Really looking forward to seeing how those line up. And we're going to actually see something we didn't really touch on. We're going to see another Lux mid coming out here for Yabai.
Yeah, it's an interesting one versus Tristana mid, or of course we're assuming it's Tristana mid. It could also be Kai'Sa mid. We will find out as the loading screen continues. Actually, no, they're stacked up, right, aren't they? Yeah, no,
Yep,
that is
they are.
Tristana mid. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, Lux versus Tristana. That's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, it's not something that you see very often, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it is going to be run. And then Severe Janna bot lane. Now, this is something that I know that the old Fnatic, before Reckless moved onto G2, something they were very much a fan of. It's a bit of a comfort pick there, the Severe. And coming a bit more into prevalence now with these new items. You build something, if you're looking at the tankiness of, you perhaps Bard can build a little bit more tankier, and then Ornn, of course, is going to have to build tank, because that's all Ornn can really build.
Yeah, really, like, what else do you build? He doesn't need to build anything else. He gets all the stats.
Exactly, and if you build the Kraken Slayer on the Severe with that bonus attack speed that she gets with the passive on her ultimate when that Ricochet Blade is out, can really start to burn through that Ornn with that true damage, and then you've got, looking at the squishier targets as well, Tristana and Lilia being able to be burnt down. It'd be really interesting to see how these matchups stack up, and really which bot lane gets the more of the pressure on early and then can push that into the mid and the late game.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, and I also do want to mention the fact that Tristana and Kai'Sa on the same team, you're putting all your chips really hard into the hyper carry bucket, right? Because Kai'Sa and Tristana do decent things in the mid game, and Kai'Sa has a lot of early game burst, but she really shines as a tower pusher. Well, as a champion assassin that can also push towers, whereas Tristana shines as a tower pusher that can also assassinate heroes. But the thing is you only have assuming that you don't build Bard particularly tanky, you only really have one front line in the form of Ornn. But that might be okay, because Yabai only have Shen as a front line. And Graves, in a way, he has natural tank stats, but you don't really build tank stats on Graves, you just kind of go for the burst build, surely.
Yeah, you do typically go for that burst build and look for the Graves being able to be a bit more of a carry jungler. Obviously, you just have the AD of the Severe, so the Graves coming in to maybe pick up a little bit of that slack, whereas you do have the double AD of the Tristana and the Kai'Sa on the other side. But this jungle matchup as well, if this Lilia, because she has such a healthy and strong clear, being able to kite her camps very, very well, there is the potential of being able to go in and invade that Graves jungle and maybe take away a few of those camps and prevent that Graves from getting so far ahead so early.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. You know, Lilia has a lot of move speed, and that she can use it for multiple different things, and that could just be one that may turn the tide. You know, it really is just one of those things where you have to wait and see how the game plays out. You know, we can theorize and we can we can theory craft and we can write it all down on paper, but at the end of the day, League of Legends is a game where anything can realistically happen, right? Anything can realistically happen. Unless you pick Tryndamere, in which case you're probably going to lose. But aside from that, anything can happen.
We can theory craft, we can speculate, but also what we can do is we can thank our sponsors. So thank you very much to Logitech G for sponsoring the stream, the world's most popular peripherals. And also thank you to Unite Students as well for sponsoring. You can pick up a room in one of their accommodation buildings in 25 cities across the country for your 2021-2022 academic year. Thank you very much to both of them, alongside the Twitch student program as well. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors, as we are going to head into the game now. The spectator delay is just a second out, and we are going to be able to finally talk about these keystones, finally talk about these champions quickly before we get into the game as well, so we can start to look as the screen does pop up for me any second now. I think we're not going to be expecting anything weird and wacky, though. Probably a Hail of Blades on Tristana and the same on the Kai'Sa. And yep, that's going to be looking the way. Grasp on the Ornn and the Shen to be expected.
Yes,
The phase rush on the Graves.
Yaniko is doing the right thing. That is an electrocute bard right there. That is what we in the business call early game damage. Bard, electrocute. Don't know if you know this, but the meeps count as individual damage sources. So you hit someone with two meeps and an auto, you get a free electrocute proc.
Yeah,
really
massive burst potential from the Bard. Also, the Kai'Sa as well, having the Hail of Blades, being able to burn through people. And now, you said that you're a fan of the Lilia. Which of the two Lilia camps do you sit in? Are you a Phase Rush Lilia player, or are you a Dark Harvest Lilia player?
I am 100% an unapologetic Dark Harvest Lilia. I like Phase Rush.
As it should be.
The thing is about Phase Rush is there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. Excess is never what you want. And she already has so much movement speed that she hits like Mach 5 if you have 5 stacks, right? But why would you, there's only one thing that you can never have too much of in League of Legends, and that's damage. That's damage. And Dark Harvest just gives you that. Your burst potential ramps up over the course of the game, and it makes you more effective at what your job is, and that is picking people off and smacking them into next week. So I think Dark Harvest Lilia is definitely the way to go, and I am very glad that Chibi Mew is going to show that this game.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this Lilia being played throughout, and it's going to look like we're going to see Yabai looking for a full topside invade. Janna is the only one on our bot side, but Severe making her way back down. Clearly nothing to be found there.
Well, Tristana's positioned a little bit precariously. Bards come into the brush. Wonder what they might be going for here.
Now, if this Janna steps forward and is caught between a Hail of Blades Kai'Sa, a Hail of Blades Tristana, and an Electrocute Bard this early on, I can imagine her health bar will disappear faster than the entirety of the team sat in front of that MF ult from the game before that dropped that beautiful quadra. Hopefully going to see some big team kills again in
Oh yeah, for
this one.
sure. But that was actually very smart. You know, they saw the bard. You know, Ether S on this Janus saw the bard, threw an auto attack and a W, and walked away. Did
Yep.
not spend any, and did not spend a single second longer than needed. And very smart stuff there, because if she had, might have been looking at a very quick first blood.
Yeah, very, very fast engage coming in from the Tristana. Obviously, with that rocket jump and the Halo Blades, is able to just chunk down that Lux. Can take a really nice trade early on. Lux starting with her E, so is going to not root the Tristana there and just going to try and get a little bit of burst off to try and force her out.
Well, that's very standard affairs. You usually start Eon Lux unless you are. The only time where I wouldn't start Eon Lux is if I had saved a skill point because I thought there was an invade and then needed the root.
Speaking of the Lux, though, that looks like it's going to be a first blood. Fully stacked Trist Bomb is going to take her out, and that's a first blood in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's the serious amount of damage that mid Tristana can put out. She's going to recall and use that gold very, very quickly, and I think that's very nice. Also, I like what you did there. Speaking of Lux, Lux. That was actually a good pun. I did not go unnoticed. Very nice stuff.
Thank you. It's going to be standard tank trades. Shen's going to walk forward. He's going to punch Ornn. Ornn's going to punch him back, and they're going to walk back behind their minions. Nothing interesting to see there. I imagine that lane is going to be an island all game until the Shen decides that he's going to stand united with his team and come down to join them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that hypothesis. I think that lane is going to be pretty stagnant and pretty isolated from the rest of the game. I think the main source of actions here are going to be bot lane and what seems like mid lane. I wouldn't have said mid lane if you'd have asked me before the game started, but maybe Tristana goes crazy.
Nice trade coming in from the Shen. He's going to get the taunt over onto the Ornn, but it's not going to quite be enough to burn through him, though. And this Shen playing very, very aggressive. These grass procs coming off nicely for him, keeping him nicely topped up, and is going to look to try and burn through this health bar, as we're probably going to see a fight for this top scuttle, but it is going to be actually the Lilia heading in with the double buff. Nice knockback onto the Shen. It's going to be a lot of damage coming in. Ornn is going to have to dash away, but is it going to be enough that the taunt comes over from the Shen? He is going to take out the Ornn, but Lilia is going to take one in return. Ornn gets a nice little assist for his troubles, and it's going to be a nice early kill onto the scaling Lilia.
They seem to die at almost the exact same time. That was really impressive that just happened the way that it did. And really nice from the Shen to commit, even though he was sure he was dead. But committing, here comes Tristana with an immediate half-health combo with nothing actually committed. Just the W, just the jump.
Just the jump coming in, and was actually really nice there to make sure that they was able to sidestep that Lux route as well as they came in. As soon as they landed, immediately stepping over, making sure that they aren't going to get locked up too early. This Severe putting out a surprising amount of damage early on, though, as we're going to see actually burning through this Kai'Sa quite well, and the Bard having to take just a little break in the bushes as well.
Yeah, we will see that definitely. And,
does look like Tristan's going to go for a engage under the turret, and that's another dive, obviously getting those resets on your rocket jump with an elimination. Very, very well played. Tristana clearly knowing the matchup well, knowing how much they can tank, and going to burn down. That's another early kill onto the Tristana. 2-0 at 5 minutes is quite worrying if you are playing into her.
Absolutely calculated. That is fantastic. Just the finesse of the Tristana. Like, that is, without exaggeration, sick. You know, that is really sick. Like, it's really cool that she can just do that and that she knows her limits and the thresholds that she can do. Lovely stuff. You do love to see it, you know?
You really do love to see it, and I'm looking forward to speaking of love to see it, that Kai'Sa hitting those long-range Ws. We mentioned we want to see some Kai'Sa earlier and playing very, very aggressive. We're going to see another taunt coming in from this Shen. Ornn's going to knock him up by just slamming face first into the wall. Typical tank player. What do you expect? Yeah, and they're going to have to... Again, they're just going to agree to walk this one out. But that brittle damage that comes in from that Bellows Breath on the Ornn, that W, making them brittle, burning so much of their health early on. And Ornn actually starting to become favored in these trades now.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's kind of the story of Ornn. Really weak in the early game, but slowly. Oh, what a stun from Bard! Sorry, I had to call that one out. That was
That's absolutely fine.
perfectly, perfectly positioned there. Really, really nice stuff. But yeah, Ornn has these phases where he's weak and you can take trades with him, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, before you even recognize it, and for reasons unknown to man or god, he just becomes untradeable with, and he wins every single trade. That's just how he works. It's what he does. It's the lament of every top lane player.
We're going to see Lilia has ticked up to level 6 now, so she does have her Lullaby available now. As Bard is going to come in, look for the stun, is going to be blocked by that black shield, and GB Mew throwing over a small seed, sniped from downtown. Down goes the Janna, and they're looking for a big turret dive now onto the Severe. It's going to be a nice lockup. That's going to be Drowsy, and down you go, and actually, that's as a Severe, you're happy to take that. You do die, but you get the shutdown on the Tristana. Very, very greedy, and gonna take the 150 gold shutdown. Kai'Sa getting her first kill of the game.
Yeah, she didn't need to die there. She had a fully stacked explosive charge on her. She was dead, and she went in for an auto attack, and it cost her her life. That was a little painful to watch. The orchestration was fantastic up to that point, but then at that point, you know, it suddenly becomes not worth, and everything kind of falls down the drain, which is unfortunate to say the least.
So Severe is going to back and get herself a Noon Quiver, and that first Drake, that Cloud Drake, is going to go the way of Tsundere.
Yeah.
Or Sundere.
Tsundere, yeah.
I forgot.
It's a very soft T. You pronounce the S harder.
Okay. I'm getting there.
Tsundere, yeah. You got it. That's good.
So pronunciations aside, we're going to see a bit of... You'd expect more of a CS lead, just 3 minions in the mid lane, considering how much this Tristana's been pushing, but those roams clearly making a difference.
Taking a toll on the CS lead there. Obviously Tristana is still in the lead, but you would expect more of a CS lead than she currently has. We'll see if that changes as the game continues on, because she's got crit items now.
That's a flash engage onto the Ornn, and
oh, beautiful.
If I'm the Shen there, I'm asking why my jungler has just come in and KS'd me. Graves did not need to pop that collateral damage. You know, it's for style points as they drop the Herald and they're going to start to take as much of this top turret as they can claim.
In that skin, the Gravesel kind of looks a bit like a Hadouken, you know? Like from Street Fighter.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, it's really cool. He just came in and he, yeah.
It's another engage on the mid lane in onto this Lux. It's going to be rooted up by the Tristana, and the Janna is going to come in on the other side. But you don't want to be engaging there. It's going to be stand united, popped by the Shen. Nice taunt through, and that's going to be the Tristana locked up immediately. Bard, your ultimate was just a little bit too slow there. Did lock up the Shen, but no one there to flip the fight. 5 kills to 4, and picks going back and forth throughout.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a really ambitious engage from the Janna, but the moment I saw Stand United, my mouth was immediately shut. And with good reason, because Shen managed to get that Tristana kill like it was his job, and Bard really couldn't do anything to... Bard couldn't really do anything to prevent him from doing so, so... You're very happy to take just a free kill like that on the side of Yabai.
Yeah, you really are, and the Shen really putting to work. We said about needing to make sure that they use the Stand United at the right time, and this Janna now being caught out. Yanako gonna burn down that one with the help of Sofa. These two comboing really well, this Bard and Kai'Sa, putting so much pressure out on the enemy bot lane, and really making them pay for every misstep they have made.
It's some serious damage. You know, they might not have all too much utility. They have a fair amount, but not as much as, like, you know, not as much engage as, say, a Leona or a Nautilus lane would. But the damage they have makes up for it. You know, it really makes up for it, because, like you say, they can punish mistakes so well.
And they are going to look to try and dive this one now, as it is going to be a lovely little Black Shield coming in from the Severe. You are going to be Drowsy, and you are down. That's another kill over onto your Kai'Sa. A beautifully orchestrated dive there onto the bot lane. Is going to be this Janna being caught out once again. She's going to get knocked back and removed with that true damage on the outside of that Lilia Q. Really well played, as this next drag is just a minute and a half out now, as the
Hmm.
Graves still on the bot side, but not really anything that you can find, just the Lux and the Graves down on that bot side, trying to make sure that this turret does not fall just yet.
Yeah, and just talking about the Drake that's coming up very, very soon. It's Infernal Drake. You know, we were talking about damage on the on the side of design of Divine Sundares. It's really, really gonna get emphasized with an Infernal Drake on under that belt. You know, I think that they don't need to. Sorry, that Yabai don't need this Infernal Drake for themselves. They need to prevent the enemy team from getting it more than anything else.
They really do,
Having
and
Infernal is a bonus.
this Kai'Sa has had her first back of the game and is going to pick up a Noon Quiver, a Serrated Dirk, and Berserker Greaves. So I
Oh,
believe
really?
that is actually going to be enough damage for her to evolve a Cathian Rain, that Q, and is going to have so much more burst potential in this bot lane.
Ooh, is that so? Does the math check out? Yes. Yes, it does.
It is going to be a very aggressive engage onto the Severe by yourself there. Perhaps not quite the one, as Janna is going to come now, and the Graves is also available there. The ultimate is popped to get that shield, but it's not going to be enough, and that's a big shutdown. 200 gold plus your standard kill gold there. That's a nice 500 gold for this massively scaling Graves to claim.
Real, it's just a lot for them to actually clean up and do on it. It's really good stuff. Like, it's just such good coordination from these teams. Like, you can tell they've been playing together for a little bit by this point. That's actually a hit.
That's going to be a miscommunication, I imagine, as you're going to see Bard actually dropping the ultimate on the Drowsy target, so they can't actually take that bonus damage, unfortunately. But they are going to start this Drake, and that's possibly questionable with how low this Tristana is, but she's going to pick up a couple of honey fruits before she looks to... They're going to have to fight this before the Drake comes in.
They're not getting it uncontested because the rest of Yabai are all positioned around to try and take this fight. Lux doesn't have an ultimate, but that'll only be the case very shortly, and in comes the smite from Lilia to secure the dragon, and they definitely did try and steal it. Lux, Janna, and Graves all just kind of going around there. And
another engage from Tristana looking to go in, but a Stand United comes in from Shen once again, but Bard is not finished. Still going in, and that's going to be a Cathian Rain burning down onto this Graves, but is it going to be enough? The taunt does come in, and it's going to be a nice dash through. Severe is going to claim that one onto the Kai'Sa, but Jimmy is going to find Lux on the other side, and it's going to be keep pushing this one in. In comes the Ornhorn Call of the Forge God, but
no!
Gets, I believe, near-sighted from that smoke screen, and that's not going to be what you really want to see as the Orn there. This Tristana so low, but they are going to have to back this one out. 6 kills to 9 currently, and the trade's really not trade's really going the way of Yabai in that fight.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's a nice game so far. Don't get me wrong, but that Orn missing the ult was, oh my god, my hands were on my head. That was absolutely. Oh, those 2 kills would have been so free if it had gone the other way around. And Tristana absolutely living on a prayer, jumping over that wall and eating the honey fruits to try and get out there. It's very, very, very close stuff. And yeah, that trade was definitely on the side of Yabai. But this is a big but, and I cannot lie. The Infernal Drake does go to Divine Sundares, and that is an important thing to keep in mind, even though that fight may not have gone their way particularly.
It may not have gone their way, but it really starts to open this one up, and you've really got to give credit to the Graves as he was able to hit that smoke screen down and stop the Orn from being able to knock their that massive Ram God back all the way through, as there is going to be a fight over this Herald now. Lilia getting very, very aggressive, but is immediately going to be shut down. That's a massive shutdown going over to the Graves. That's a 300 gold shutdown plus 300, 900. Little ticking up there. Is it going to get the 100 from the Herald? But nobody has picked up the eye yet, and someone is going to have to step in and take that. Tristana is going to get locked up, and he's going to get knocked back for Lux. And they are just going to have to try and camp this one, try and prevent this Herald from being picked up. Really nice play from Tsundere.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. Like, I'm very impressed by that. To think that was only just like a small kind of, well, a small kind of disruption that then turned into basically a kind of capture the flag scenario. You know, like sorry, King of the Hill scenario, I should say. really impressive stuff and just really interesting the entire way through. That fight didn't particularly go anyone's way. It just happened.
Yeah, it didn't
Very
particularly
strange.
go anybody's way, but despite the herald being picked up from Yabai, they're not able to claim it and going to really stop a lot of their pushing power that they would have had. And that's going to be the call of the Forge God coming in on this Lux, but she's going to get a really nice route. And is that flash going to come in? Stand United as well from the shed prevents her from falling and
Oh,
preventing Ornn and Lilia getting just a few more kills in this game.
should have bought a longsword. Should have had a longsword. It would have been enough damage to kill her. Should have bought a longsword. Entirely Annie Banana's fault. No, I'm kidding. That was incredibly close. I am amazed that Lux managed to get out, and that swirl seed must have felt like dodging a bullet, even if she had the Stand United.
Yeah, even with the Stand United, but the flash had to come out before the Stand United came in. So really, if you're on the side of, if you are that Lux on the side of your buy, you are thanking your reactions there. Few mythics starting to come on the board now, as we are going to see the Bard picking up the Imperial Mandate. So anytime that he lands those stuns that they've been doing so well, those immobilizers, means that a little bit of bonus damage able to come in. So the Lilia can claim that, and the Tristana, as we do speak about the Tristana, they are going to come flying in. It is going to be the Kaiser, the Severe trying to pop the ult, trying to escape, but it's not going to be quite enough. Tristana's going to find two. Rocket jumping forward, trying to find another, but they're not going to find anything. As just walking through that Lux, clearly not showing any respect to the Lux, as the Janna Tornado not going to quite catch anybody there. Nice lockup from the Lux, but it's not going to be enough. This double buff Tristana is ruling the roost and claiming all of these lanes for themselves.
You know what? I've got to give it to that Lux. That was 2 double roots in a row, and they were able to recognize one of the double roots and immediately follow up with an ultimate. It was actually a good play from them. Unfortunately, that was 2 very quick, clean for Divine Sundare's. Bard getting very low there, but putting down a little bit of hot cocoa, having a bit of a sip, and he's going to be fine. He's
more than happy with that one. As the next Drake is going to spawn, we are going to see an Ocean Soul this game, if it does go that long. But again, Divine Sundare really just burning through that dragon. That's going to be 3 dragons popped. We're looking at a soul at around 23 minutes.
No, that's good. It's good stuff. That was a good pronunciation, by the way. That was
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
I've noticed you're getting better across the game. It's good. It's like watching a baby bird trying to fly.
I felt the first few times, but I'm starting to bring it back.
Yeah, you're getting it. You know, one day you'll leave the nest, and I'll be a sad co-caster. But
really seeing the just before as you're speaking, though, really seeing the clear power of the Lilia. You see she comes in 2 Qs and a W and a smite, and she's on her way, burning through her wolves and absolute power farming, building up to now a 26 CS lead. Obviously, you get more CS in the jungle per camp, but really starting to take hold of this match now.
Yeah, and you know, that's not to understate the fact that Graves has really good clear in the jungle as well. It's just that Lilia has stuff which is so much better. And when it comes to clear and farm and gold and stuff, one thing that is actually very important across the entire team is taking towers. And I think that's one thing which hasn't really been picked up too much by either team at the moment, because Divine Sundare have pretty much full health on all their towers, and Yabai, sorry, complete brain fart for a moment there. Yabai only has only lost 1 tower, but mid looking to go down for this Tristana. Yeah, if Tristana wants a tower, she kind of just takes it. And I think they need to use that a little bit more so they can open up more of the map and use this aggressive potential that they have.
Really does. Tristana absolutely melting through that turret. Only just a couple of waves is all it took to just get through that one. And if my eyes do not deceive me, it is just the Janna left to get her mythic item. Now going to see Gale Force coming in for both the Graves and the Kaiser. So we said about Graves building that Gale Force, allowing himself just a little bit more movement around the jungle. First you have your dash to reload a shell, and then you have a dash with an execute damage on it.
Yeah. No, and I just want to specifically mention that Bard picked up an Imperial Mandate. I personally love Imperial Mandate. I think it's a fantastic item. It's really, really good. It's probably my favorite support mythic. And a lot of people weren't talking about it too much because there was another sport mythic. I think it was, yeah, Locket was really strong on the actual release of the new items patch. But I specifically was saying, I was thinking to myself, man, if Locket ever gets nerfed, Imperial Mandate's what you got to watch out for. And yeah, Bard is making such good use of it so far. That extra damage on all of his movement impairing abilities, oh, it's absolutely paying dividends. You know, the additional burst is just so useful in this team comp.
It really is, and this Tristana looking to play very, very aggressive now is going to actually get rooted, going to get themselves exhausted, and is going to have to jump out of that one as Graves did try and come in with that collateral damage. Going to miss that one just a little bit wide on that one, but Ornn now ticking up to 13 as it is going to be Tristana falling. The shutdown going over to the Janna finally. Now they might be able to pick up their mythic. It is going to be Bard going to throw himself through the wall, and it is going to be Yabai still trying to push this one. The Shen falling rather low now, and it is going to be dashing forward. This Kai'Sa playing so aggressive. The bottom turret has gone, and they're looking to push this one, looking to get a few more kills despite being down players. They do have them on the run. The Ornn is slowly making their way back now. Could be a massive sleep coming in. That's going to find two immediately. The Ornn Horn comes in, is going to take out the Lux. They're going to keep pushing this one all the way under the tower and bringing this player advantage up. But it does look like they're signaling to move towards Baron. Trying to mention before, Ornn ticking up to the level where he can start to upgrade mythics, upgrade his own Sunfire Aegis into that Forge Fire crest, giving all those bonus stats.
Yeah, it's really nice. And as he levels, the team is just going to get those extra stats that basically Ornn, you know, that's one of the reasons why you pick an Ornn in the first place, is to just give the rest of your team just amazing amounts of extra stats. So it's really useful in that sense. That fight was really, honestly, Tristana got too big for her boots. Got too big for her boots. They got very greedy, thought she could take on two champions at the same time, couldn't, and had to back away and died for it. But the rest of Divine Sundares used the space and used the opportunity that Tristana gave them, because pretty much the entire of Yabai was on her tail, and were able to make a very decent push off it and actually get something in return. That sleep into the Ornn Horn combo, it was beautiful, absolutely divine, if you will.
We are going to be ticking down now. It's going to be what's the word? Optimistic Bard ultimate there going in, and
she was getting the stasis on the ward to make sure it didn't get demoted.
yes, of course. As this Ocean Drake is up, and Yabai really need to put some pressure on this one. You don't want to be giving up an Ocean Soul if you can. All that health regen is going to come in.
Oh, it's so nice. And if Divine Sundares get it, you know, one's got a lot of health to regen, and the rest of them actually have a fair amount of HP as well. Nothing too crazy, but
nice stun coming in, and that's going to be that Mandate procced alongside that Lilia Q, going to force that Shen to back right the way off, and they're going to just look to start this Drake. They want to claim that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and this is now where Yabai should be hearing panic sounds. You know, they need to be contesting this, and they need to be fighting it, but they just can't. So now they have to back away in the knowledge that they are very unlikely going to win a fight on even terms. They need to get a pick, you know, otherwise they just can't really do much. The next objective they need to fight over is Baron, which Bard, fantastic awareness, already setting up vision for, making it so that that is the next thing on their very long list of things to do. The final one, of course, being destroy the Nexus.
Of course, but those are just building blocks to get there, to get to that Nexus if they can. But really, yeah, as you said, the Baron is the next big thing to play for here. 25 minutes in, we've seen some very early Barons previously, but it doesn't look like that way at the minute. Ornn now looking, as soon as he can tick up to that 14, which mythics do you think the Ornn's going to go for? Is he going to go for maybe the Kai'Sa, or I would personally like to see the Lilia getting their Liandry's Anguish upgraded first.
I think that that's actually a very good idea. I think all the stats on it are very good. Like, they're good for the cost as it stands. but when they're upgraded, they're even better. I can also see Kraken Slayer getting upgraded just because you want more
Okay.
stats on the Tristana so that she can kill people faster. You know, you get more attack damage, more attack speed, more crit chance. That's all things which you are very happy to receive. So for me, it would be between those two, and then maybe you would want to look at Gale Force after that. But Gale
And I
Force,
think
it
it's
has good stats on it, but the main reason you pick Gale Force is for the dash, right?
I think it's safe to assume that that mandate will be the last thing to be upgraded, as we're going to see
Yeah,
Lilia
yeah.
throwing in. That's going to be 2 people drowsy in the backline, but the taunt is going to come in from the Shen. Is it going to be enough as down goes Sophie? Sophie is going to get that pick on the Kai'Sa. Is going to be the Shen falling first, but the Tristana is going to be the next one to fall. Playing very, very aggressive again as in comes the Ornhorn. That's a very, very aggressive engagement. In comes the Kai'Sa. Yanako is going to take out the Janna now, trying to push this one in. It's going to be a double kill for the Bard now as they do take out the Grace. Lilia is going to pick up the Lux, and they're looking at a team kill now. If they can manage to chase down the Severe. Lilia getting very, very aggressive. Not going to find anything. Just trying to keep that movement speed up with that passive stacks. And Chibi possibly catching themselves out slightly. They're going to take the mid turret, and they now really want to go for that Baron.
Now, the bronze player that lives inside my head called Melody wants to keep pushing and wants to get that inhibitor, but it is such a smarter and higher win percentage move to go for this Baron. The only problem is, can they take it? Because they're all looking relatively low. You know, until Orn comes in, yeah, now they've got a decent tank for it. Should be all right.
Talking previously about those masterwork items, Orn is going to get that first one, and it is going to be the Gale Force being upgraded into the Typhoon. Kai'Sa putting out so much damage in that fight and now has their Mythic upgraded. That all those bonus stats that you're going to see coming in for the Gale Force, that extra AD, the extra attack speed as well. I'm expecting this Kai'Sa to just be burning through people now in these fights.
Yeah, it's an extra 20 AD and 15% attack speed, so not amazing, like not an amazing amount of stats, but still a considerable increase. 33%, I'm pretty sure. Well, almost double the attack speed and a 33% increase on the ADs. Very nice.
Lilia picking up a couple of items as well, so she's going to be on the Demonic Embrace as well as Leandri. So not only does she have her passive burn when she has those stacks on, but she also has Leandri's burn. And then on top of all of that, because, you know, passive burn damage isn't quite enough, also going to grab the Demonic Embrace to get the passive burn damage, and also that extra armor and magic resist stats for the longer that she is in combat. And Lilia just wants to stay and fight 24/7.
Yeah, if there's anything that makes you tankier, if there's anything that makes you stick around so that you can spam your Qs and hit people with it for longer, that is something that Lilia is more than happy to pick up. And that Demonic Embrace with the Azakana Gaze passive, beautiful stuff. Definitely a luxury item for this Lilia. They're already in a they're in pole position to take this. I don't think anyone would argue with that. But this right here
They
just
really are.
Yeah, look at that. Look at how much HP Janna burned off there just by getting hit by one spell seed. It's ridiculous.
That's looking at possibly looking at a 2-man ult, but there's all just playing split, and all 5 members of Yabai being occupied in this mid lane, and Ornn is just free pushing in this top lane with those Baron empowered minions. Doing so much work, and they are going to have to start to split here. Ultimate does come in, and the heal is going to be popped in. Really nice play there from Bard, but is it going to be enough as the full taunt comes in from Shen? Is it going to be enough? It's going to take out the Tristana and the Kai'Sa. That's a huge amount of damage that is going to be done. Lilia goes in and tries to play very, very aggressive, and is going to have to pop her Zhonya's, but that's not going to be enough as the Deer countered by the shotgun of Graves, taken out by that one. Anna Banani is going to come in, take out that Shen, and look at how much this Ornn is able to tank. So much damage being thrown their way, but it's not going to really do anything. Shen going to pick up a Hydra, and Grace picking up a Last Whisper, really wanting to burn through some of this armor that this Ornn has been stacking up.
Yeah, so the only real problem about that is the fact that that fight was going really well until Bard ulted himself and his 2 low health team members, which allowed them to get picked up by the Shen, and then the rest of the team could collapse. You know, the entire time while they were in the Zhonya's stasis, Yabai did not waste a second in positioning correctly to counter that as soon as the stasis was up. And now they are in a much better position to contest this Elder Drake, which is... Sorry, Elder Dragon, not a Drake. They are much more noble, the dragons. And this is an important one. This is a very important Elder Dragon here. All Elder Dragons are important, but this one could be the decider of the game.
It could be the decider of the game, or it could be the way that your buy start to turn this 9k gold deficit and start to, really look to bring themselves into this one. Tristana is going to get her Kraken Slayer upgraded, but this it is going to be Lilia picking that one up, and that's going to be so much damage coming in from that Lux ultimate, though. That barrier is going to not do enough. It is going to be Lilia picking up the Shen. It's going to be Graves picking up the orb, but Lilia going to find another two. Make that triple. It's going to be a pentakill for the Lilia, coming in
Just
and
the
claiming
tentacle,
that one.
baby.
And that looks like it's probably going to be game. We're going to see 30 seconds on the respawn timers. They do have this Elder Drake, and they're going to start to walk this down mid lane, open up the inhibitor, and look to end the game.
Believe that. Well, no, I can definitely believe it because it's Lilia and that extra, we were talking about how Liandry's and her passive wasn't enough burn. Turns out, Demonic Embrace wasn't enough burn either. She needed the Elder Drake burn as well, and that, and coupled with the Execute passive, was enough to basically put this game in the put this game in the closed cases files, because this they have all their champions up. They can defend this, but I really feel like they might just be going through the motions here.
Yeah, they are going to be able to start to clear out a few of these minions, but the Lilia and the Bard, the only two that have the Elder Drake available to them now. But if you're on your buy, it's really, you're just playing this out as a matter of courtesy, I feel, because...
Oh yeah, well okay, here's the thing. Lilia is incredibly strong with the Elder Drake, right? We've seen that. She was able to get a pentakill off of a few Qs. I don't think that Yabai are straight up out of it. I think Yabai are in a terrible position. I think they could have pushed in. I think they could have done things here. But the thing is minus the Elder Dragon, Yabai was starting to take that fight.
They really were starting to, but that Elder Drake is just so strong, especially being on that Lilia. She's really one that's going to be getting so much damage out to everyone as soon as they hit that threshold, and her burn damage can just be the single tick of damage. Is going to be able to just execute them so early, and that's going to be Lux caught up, and a Bardol is going to get hit by that Mandate procker. Is it going to be enough? They are going to lock up the Kai'Sa, and down you go. Tristana is going to get the pick over onto that Lux there. In comes the Ornhorn, but knocked up by the Janna Tornado, so not able to send that ram back in. This bot turret is going to fall, and the inhibitor is open, and now they're looking to continue this fight now. Graves throwing in a bit of damage, but is it going to be enough? It's taking so much poke from the Tristana. Lilia just looking to keep playing aggressive. In goes Flash Q, pops the sleep, down they go. Sophia is going to get another pick over onto the Janna, and this is looking like the end. Sophie is going to find the Tristana, but is it going to be enough? Kaiser's going to get the pick over onto the Shen, make that a double kill for them. Down goes another inhibitor, and it looks like this turret is going to fall, and the Nexus is the next one to go. Really well played, but Tsundere are going to take this one, and I mispronounced it right at the end. Really well played throughout, as the Nexus is going to fall, shut down for Lux, just to round it off.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I had faith in Yabai till the very end, and I do want to say, even though they lost, very well played from them. I think they did a very good job here, but unfortunately, Divine Tsunderes just happened to play a little bit better in this instance because they were the ones who won it, and they had the team comp that could take advantage of the situation that they were in over Yabai's. And while both teams played absolutely fantastically, that is just how it is with these kinds of things. Ornn gives you so much extra stats, gives you so much extra ability in the fights, and also Lilia, we've been talking up and down about how she was, 10 and 3, and she had crazy amounts of kills and damage and burn damage and all this kind of thing. But the most important thing is objectives, right? Not a single objective, I think. Maybe there was a Rift Herald earlier on. I can't quite remember. But
I believe the Graves got a Rift Herald early, but that was the only jungle objective that went their way.
Exactly. Lilia was on top of it in every other instance. She got every single Drake. She got the Elder Dragon. She made sure that Elder Dragon, every time the Drake was up, she was on it. And super quick. They were sold by 23 minutes. That is not something which is common. And yeah, it was just really, really good overall performance from the side of Divine Tsunderes, and a well-deserved win, I feel.
Yeah, really well played by both teams, and well, from every team that we've seen on stream today, there's been some very, very close games and really great competition, and I'm really looking forward to the coming weeks.
Oh,
Just want to
yes.
give one final shout out to our sponsors. It's Logitech G, the world's best-selling gaming gear, and Unite students available in 25 cities with free cancellation. You can book your room for your 2021-2022 academic year. You can go ahead and check underneath us. You can go ahead and follow our Twitters. Got to get a bit of
Definitely
shameless
do.
promotion in
Definitely
there.
do follow the Twitters. Now, I've only followed It's Joe B over here. That's at It's Joe B. Am I right?
At not Joe Burton.
Oh, at not Joe Burton. You had me. See, you had me tricked there because your name is
I
It's
did.
Joe B, and then
Yeah,
all of
I
a
know.
sudden it's not Joe
I,
Burton.
I know. I know.
It threw me for a loop, but I've only followed him for 2 or 3 days, and already my Twitter experience has been improved. And you can also follow myself at ShoopedYT. That's SHOOPDYT. But you can read, so I don't need to say that. And the last thing I do just want to say before we head off is, if you are not already part of the Newell's community, you can of course go ahead and join it. Start your journey in one of the best and most welcoming UK esports and just communities for esports related games at discord.gg/the Newell.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we will be back again next week. Unfortunately, you won't be with us too, but I'm sure we can leave you in some very capable hands. Until
Most
next time, thank you very much, and stay safe.